Marcus Hale had always believed that engineering was safer than hero work. Heroes got laser burns, broken bones, and the occasional medal. Engineers, in his mind, got worn gloves, half-finished projects, and the quiet pride of fixing something important. That was why he joined the exploration team of the starship Resolute. It was peaceful work, or so he thought. On the fourth day of the diplomatic mission to the alien world Tavar, Marcus learned something new. Even harmless-looking survey drones could betray him at the worst moment. The drone exploded with a loud metallic crack, sending sparks across the cliffside and throwing Marcus flat onto the rocky ground. Dust filled the air. His helmet display went blank. His suit hissed with escaping oxygen. He could barely hear the distant shouts of his team, muffled by his failing systems. Then everything faded into darkness. When Marcus woke again, he wasn't on the cliff. He lay on a soft, warm platform inside a large, circular room, with glowing blue lines running across the walls. Strange symbols floated in the air like holograms. He tried to sit up, but gentle hands pushed him back down. "Easy, human," a calm voice said. "Your chest took a strong impact." Marcus blinked hard until his vision cleared. Standing around him were 5 tall women Tivari healers wearing silver and blue armor decorated with long, sweeping patterns. Their eyes were a bright, reflective gold, and their hair was braided in tight, elegant coils that shimmered under the room's soft light. Each of them held tools shaped like glowing crystal rods. He looked down at himself and froze. His environmental suit was gone. Only a soft medical fabric covered him, lightweight and unfamiliar. He swallowed. Where's my suit?" The lead healer tilted her head, confused. "It was damaged and unsafe. We removed it to treat you. Be calm. Your life was in danger." Marcus nodded slowly. That made sense. They saved him. He tried to relax. He tried to be logical, but the Tavari healers did not look calm. In fact, they all stared at him with wide, intense eyes, as if he had done something shocking. The leader, her armor carrying a golden crest, stepped forward and spoke in a ceremonial tone. "Human Marcus Hale, you have allowed the shield maidens of Tavar to see your form without your battle shell. This act carries deep meaning among our people." Marcus blinked again. "My what?" "Your shell," she repeated. "Your outer protection. Your suit." "Oh," Marcus said slowly. "You mean my environmental suit?" "Well, I didn't exactly allow it." Another healer stepped closer. "The meaning is the same. You entrusted us with your unarmored self. This is a sacred gesture in our culture. It is done only with one's chosen bondmate." Marcus looked from one woman to another. "Bondmate?" "Yes," the leader said gravely. "One who walks with you in loyalty and trust for life. You have shown this trust by letting us see you without your shell. Now we must honor this right." Marcus sat bolt upright despite the healer's warning. "Wait, no. This is a misunderstanding. I didn't choose anything. I was unconscious." The 5 women bowed their heads together, whispering quickly in their melodic Tavari language. Their metallic armor clicked softly as they moved. Marcus couldn't understand the words, but he could tell they were debating something serious. After a moment, they turned back to him. "It is clear you speak from uncertainty," the Golden Crest healer said. "Your people may practice different customs, but Tavar law is ancient. Actions carry meaning even if intent was absent." Marcus rubbed his face with both hands. "This is bad," he muttered. "This is so bad." A healer on his left stepped closer. Her eyes shone warmly. "Do not fear. You will not be harmed." "That makes me more nervous, actually," Marcus whispered. The leader continued, her voice echoing through the chamber. "You have 2 honorable choices, human Marcus Hale. First, you may accept the bond and choose one of us as your life partner, as tradition states." Marcus felt his stomach drop. "And the second choice?" he asked weakly. The healer's eyes glimmered. "You may refuse, but refusal has consequences. According to rite, it would dishonor the shield maidens who treated you. A trial of consequence must then be held." Marcus groaned. That sounds worse. It depends on your strength of will, she said. He wasn't reassured. Outside the chamber, the Tavar healing complex buzzed with activity. Word had already spread. The human had revealed his unarmored form to the shield maidens. Many aliens gathered near the building, their armor shimmering with symbols of respect or curiosity. Marcus could hear faint echoes, murmurs, and metallic footsteps. He lay back on the platform, staring at the glowing symbols drifting across the ceiling. This was supposed to be a simple diplomatic mission. Meet the locals, fix a few machines, help with technology exchange. Not accidentally propose marriage. A healer adjusted the crystal device beside him, scanning his ribs. You humans repair quickly, she said. Your inner structure is strong. Thanks, Marcus replied weakly. But I'd really like to repair this cultural misunderstanding even faster. She paused. You do not wish to choose a bondmate from us? Marcus waved his hands frantically. No. I mean nothing against any of you. You're all amazing. But humans don't bond that way. Not instantly. And definitely not because someone took off our suit without asking. The healer frowned gently. In our culture, such openness is not taken lightly. It is a powerful sign. Marcus exhaled slowly. Well, on Earth, medical emergency is just medical emergency. The women exchanged another round of whispers. The leader approached again. It is clear your people think differently. Yet traditions cannot be changed easily. The Council of Shield Maidens must meet and decide whether your plea is valid. Marcus raised a hand. Please tell them I said sorry for whatever this is. The leader nodded. We will. Rest now. The council gathers at sunset. They stepped back, leaving Marcus alone under the soft blue lights. Meanwhile, aboard the Resolute, chaos reigned. Captain Arya Zhao paced across the command deck, her boots tapping sharply. Say that again. Slowly, her communications officer swallowed. Local channels are reporting that engineer Marcus Hale has invoked a Tavari bonding rite. Accidentally. Accidentally. How does one accidentally invoke a bonding rite? He was injured, Captain. The healers removed his suit. Apparently that's a big symbolic thing. Captain Zhao closed her eyes. Of all the humans on this ship, it had to be him. She opened a channel to the Council's communication hub. This is Captain Zhao of the United Earth vessel Resolute. We request immediate clarification regarding Engineer Hale's condition and status. Undermanned. But the reply was not what she expected. A deep, solemn voice answered, Your engineer is safe. He is under the protection of the Shield Maidens. However, he has initiated an ancient rite. The Council will determine the path forward. Your interference is not required until the judgment is made. Zhao felt her heart sink. Oh no, we're in trouble. In the healing chamber, as the sun of Tavar dipped below the horizon, Marcus tried to rehearse explanations, apologies, speeches, anything that might save him from a ritual marriage or a dangerous trial. But his mind raced faster than he could control. The door slid open. The 5 healers entered once more. The council has decided, the leader announced. Marcus sat up, tense. You will be brought before them at dawn, she said. There. You will speak for yourself. They will hear your explanation. They will judge your intent and your heart. Marcus felt a small wave of relief. So I get to talk? That's good. The healer nodded. Yes, but you must be careful. The council values truth, courage, and honor. If you show fear, they may think your heart is unsteady. Marcus sighed. Fear is my natural state at the moment. The healer actually smiled. Then hide it well. They stepped forward and placed a smooth, glowing stone on his chest. It warmed instantly, like gentle sunlight. This symbol marks that you were treated by the Shield Maidens, the leader said. It grants you protection. No harm will come to you before the trial. Well, Marcus said, that's comforting. Slightly. The leader bowed. Rest. Tomorrow your words will decide the path your people take with ours. Marcus watched them leave. He lay in silence, staring at the ceiling once more. He had come to Tavar to fix machines, Now he had to fix an entire culture's misunderstanding or risk starting a diplomatic disaster. And all because they saw him without his battle shell. "Great," he whispered. The sun of Tavar rose in soft bands of gold, lighting the alien city like a glowing mosaic. Tall stone towers curved toward the sky, each carved with spirals that shimmered faintly in the morning light. The air carried a quiet hum, part energy, part distant machinery. It was peaceful. But Marcus Hale's nerves refused to match the calm atmosphere. He stood in a large circular hall, wearing the simple medical garment the healers had given him. The glowing stone placed on his chest hung from a silver cord, marking him as protected. Despite that, his hands trembled slightly. 5 shield maidens escorted him through the hall, their armored boots tapping rhythmically. Their armor shone in shades of silver and cobalt blue, reflecting soft beams of light. Around them, Tavari citizens gathered silently, watching Marcus with an intense curiosity that made him feel like he was being scanned by 1,000 invisible eyes. One whispered to another, "He is the one who showed his unarmored form. Such trust, such boldness, or such confusion." Marcus tried not to shrink under the attention. He cleared his throat quietly and whispered to the healer beside him, "Are they always this? Observant?" The healer smiled softly. "You are part of a rite older than memory. They watch to see what kind of human you are." "Oh good," Marcus muttered. No pressure. They walked through large doors into the council chamber. A vast open space with 12 tall stone seats arranged in a circle. The seats were occupied by the Council of Shield Maidens, the highest authority among Tavari warrior women. Each member wore ornate armor, more decorated than the healers, each plate engraved with symbols of their rank, history, and victories. At the center of the circle stood a raised stone platform, the place where he would speak. Marcus took a slow breath. "Okay. Human diplomacy time. No panicking." The healer with the golden crest leaned down slightly. "Speak honestly. Speak with dignity. Do not joke too much. They value sincerity above all." Marcus nodded and stepped forward. A deep gong sounded through the chamber. The room fell silent. The eldest shield maiden, Sarai Kar, rose from her seat. Her armor was lined with gold and deep violet, marking her as the oldest and perhaps the strictest member. "Human Marcus Hale," she said, her voice echoing powerfully. "You were found injured. The healers removed your shell to save your life. In doing so, they witnessed what your people keep guarded. This act carries sacred meaning." Marcus nodded slowly. "I understand that now." Sarai Kar continued. "You may now explain why you chose this gesture, if it was intentional, and why you now refuse to honor our ancient rite." Marcus cleared his throat. His voice trembled, but he steadied it. "It was not intentional. I was unconscious. My suit was damaged. I didn't choose anything. Your healers saved my life, and I'm grateful. But where I come from, removing a protective suit during a medical emergency isn't a romantic or ceremonial act. It's just saving someone." Some of the council members exchanged glances. Marcus continued before fear froze him. "I did not mean to offend your customs, and I didn't mean to start a rite. I'm sorry for the confusion." A younger council member leaned forward. "If this was unintentional, why did you not tell the healers immediately after waking?" Marcus rubbed his forehead. "I did try. I was confused. I didn't even know what was happening. I thought I was being examined medically. Not," he hesitated, "not being seen as choosing a partner." Sarai Kar's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "Human traditions differ greatly." Marcus nodded. "Very much," the council murmured among themselves. Their voices were soft, but every whisper sounded tense. Finally, Sarai Kar raised a hand. Silence returned. "There is another question," she said. "If you do not wish to take one of the healers as your bondmate, how will you restore their honor? For honor is the heart of Tavar." Marcus took a deep breath. "I don't want anyone dishonored because of me. I want to fix this." I want to show respect to your culture, but in a way that also makes sense for humans. A different council member, older, with silver streaks through her braids, leaned forward. You propose an alternative? A new path? Marcus nodded again. His heart pounded. Yes. A cultural exchange oath. A symbol of trust between our species. A connection not between individuals forced by misunderstanding, but between our peoples, by choice. The council chamber buzzed instantly. Some whispered in excitement. Others frowned deeply. Sarai stared at him, her expression unreadable. A new ritual, she said. To replace an ancient one? Not replace, Marcus said quickly. Add to. Honor the old by creating something new for both our people. The council members continued murmuring. One member from the far end stood. Her armor was dark blue with silver stripes, symbols of a tactician. Human Marcus Hale, she said. Your words show courage. But courage alone is not enough. Our rites test heart and spirit. You must show yours. Marcus felt his throat tighten. What does that mean? The tactician pointed to the center of the chamber, where two stone circles were carved into the floor. One glowed faintly blue, the other red. A trial of voices and steel. Marcus exhaled shakily. I don't like the sound of that. The tactician smiled. The trial of voices is a debate, your words against ours. You defend your idea, your honor, and your intent. The trial of steel is not to harm you. It is symbolic combat to test your resolve. Marcus blinked rapidly. Combat? Symbolic or not? I'm an engineer. Sarai nodded. Then let your mind guide you. The trial does not measure strength of muscle. It measures strength of purpose. Marcus looked around. All eyes were on him. Tavari from every corner of the chamber watched like silent stone statues. He swallowed. I'll do it. The room erupted with sharp metallic sound, Tavari's signal for approval. The healers brought Marcus to a resting area behind the chamber. He sank onto a stone bench, breathing hard. His heart thumped against his ribs. The Golden Crest healer sat beside him. You were brave. Marcus shook his head. I was desperate. That is also bravery, sometimes. He looked at her. This trial, is it fair? She nodded. Very, but not easy. You must speak with clarity, and you must not fear the practice weapons. They are meant to test your reaction, not harm you. Marcus rubbed his temples. I fix engines. I don't fight. You solve problems, she said gently. And this is a problem. Solve it. He looked at her. She seemed sincere, truly wanting him to succeed not for herself, but for the healer's honor, for her people, for peace. I'll try, he said quietly. In the council chamber again, Marcus stepped onto the glowing blue circle. The air felt electric. Tavari spectators had filled the balconies above. Hundreds of golden eyes watched him. Sarai rose again. We begin with the trial of voices. Another council member approached Marcus, her armor clinking softly. She spoke firmly. Why should we change an ancient rite for one outsider? Marcus answered steadily. Because this time, the rite happened without meaning or intent. You value honor. I do too. True honor comes from choice, not from mistake. Some council members nodded. Another voice challenged him. Why should humans be trusted to share a sacred bond? Marcus replied. Because humans have crossed stars not for conquest, but for cooperation. We've risked our lives to build alliances. We're here because we believe in learning from others, and another. Why create a new ritual? And, Marcus steadied himself. Because life changes. Cultures grow. New bonds bring new strength. The questions came fast. Marcus answered each from the heart, though his voice shook sometimes, but he stayed honest. He stayed respectful. Even Sarai watched him with new interest. Finally, she raised her hand. Enough. He has stood firm. A gong sounded. Now came the trial of steel. 2 Tavari warriors stepped forward with wooden practice staffs decorated in blue paint. They handed Marcus one shaped for human use. It was light, smooth, and terrifying. The tactician approached. "Begin when ready." Marcus wasn't ready, but he raised the staff anyway. The two warriors attacked not harshly, but swiftly. Their movements were graceful, controlled. Marcus dodged the first strike, blocked the second, stumbled through the third. His heart raced, sweat formed on his brow. He remembered what the healer told him: solve the problem. So he did what engineers do, he analyzed. He watched patterns in their movements. He noticed they overcommitted after a feint. He used timing instead of strength. He dodged at the last second, letting their momentum carry them past him. He tapped their staffs with his own, not attacking, but redirecting. The Tevari murmured in surprise. Saraikar's eyes widened. Marcus wasn't winning. But he wasn't losing either. He was thinking. After several rounds, the warriors stepped back and saluted. The tactician smiled faintly. "Your resolve is true," a gong echoed. Saraikar rose one final time. "Human Marcus Hale," she said. "You have faced the trials with heart and mind. Your proposal shall be considered." Marcus exhaled deeply, nearly collapsing. The council murmured. Tomorrow, they would decide. And his fate and the relationship between Earth and Tavar hung in the balance. Dawn arrived on Tavar with a quiet strength. The sky glowed in pale silver, slowly warming into bands of blue that stretched across the horizon. The city felt different today, more alive, more alert. Everyone knew the council would reveal their decision. Everyone knew the human had faced the trials, and everyone was watching. Marcus Hale sat alone on a stone bench in the preparation hall. His muscles ached from the symbolic combat of the previous day. His mind felt heavier than his body, the memory of each question from the trial of voices, every strike he'd dodged during the trial of steel, replayed in loops. He pressed his palms together, leaning forward. Please let them understand. Please let peace matter more than tradition. The doors slid open with a soft hiss. The Golden Crest healer, the one who had comforted him since he woke, entered with her 4 companions. Their faces were calm, but their golden eyes carried a weight he couldn't read. "You look troubled," she said gently. Marcus gave a tense laugh. "I feel like someone stuffed my nerves into a blender." She tilted her head. "Is that a human saying?" "Kind of," Marcus said. "It means I'm terrified." The healer stepped closer. Her armor reflected the morning light in soft blue waves. "Your fear shows your heart. But your actions yesterday showed your spirit." Many council members were impressed. "You think I have a chance?" Marcus asked. She nodded. "Yes, but whether the council accepts your new ritual, no one truly knows. Saraikar holds great influence." Marcus swallowed hard. "And Saraikar is the one who thinks the old ways must be followed?" "Exactly," the healer said. "What do I do if she says no?" Marcus whispered. "Then you face the consequences of refusal," she replied softly. "But we hope it will not come to that." She extended her hand. "It is time." The council chamber was even more crowded than before. Hundreds of shield maidens stood on the balconies, their armor forming a shimmering mural of silver and cobalt. The air vibrated with low murmurs, the sound rolling like distant thunder. Marcus walked between the 5 healers, feeling very small among so many towering warriors. But he kept his head high. He had done everything he could. They stepped onto the central platform. The murmurs died instantly. A deep gong sounded through the chamber. The 12 council members sat in solemn silence until Saraikar finally rose. Her armor, gold and violet, seemed to glow under the morning light. "Human Marcus Hale," she said. "Yesterday, you faced our ancient trials. You spoke with honesty. You fought with cleverness. You showed respect and courage in equal measure." Her voice echoed around the vast chamber. "But the matter before us is not simple. A sacred right was unknowingly invoked. Our traditions demand resolution. Our people demand honor. And you ask us to accept something new, an oath never before written in our history." Marcus's heart hammered in his chest. Saraikar continued. "We have debated through the night. We have weighed your intent, your actions, and the bond you propose." The chamber remained utterly silent. Marcus felt the air grow heavy. Then Sarai-Kar looked directly at him. Step forward. His legs felt like stone, but he forced them to move. The elder warrior studied him with sharp, searching eyes. "In your trial of voices," she said, "you argued that honor comes not from mistake, but from choice. That a gesture done without meaning should not bind two lives forever." Marcus nodded once, carefully. "You also claimed that humans come seeking cooperation, not dominance. That your people value peace." "We do," Marcus said quietly. "And that new traditions can strengthen a culture instead of weakening it." "Yes," Marcus replied. "If both sides choose them willingly." Sarai-Kar was silent for several long seconds, her expression unreadable. Then she raised her voice. "Human Marcus Hale, the council has reached a decision." Marcus stopped breathing. "You will not be forced into a bondmate union." The chamber erupted. Some cheered, some gasped, some muttered in confusion. The healers behind Marcus let out quiet breaths of relief, but Sarai-Kar lifted her hand sharply, calling the room back to silence. "However," she continued, her tone firm, "your actions did begin a rite that must still be honored. So the council has shaped a new path." Marcus's heart pounded. Sarai-Kar stepped down from her high seat and approached him slowly, each step echoing against the stone. "You offered a cultural exchange oath, a bond between peoples, not individuals. A symbol of trust that grows from cooperation." She paused in front of him. "The council accepts this." Marcus's eyes widened. Relief flooded his chest. But Sarai-Kar wasn't finished. "However, for this oath to hold meaning, it must be sealed through a final challenge, one last test, proving your dedication to unity." Her gaze burned with intensity. "You must face the ceremony of shared burden." Marcus blinked. "What is that?" The Golden Crest healer whispered behind him. "It is not dangerous, but it is difficult. We have the Dagas." "Alaim," Sarai-Kar said. "This ceremony tests whether two cultures can support one another through hardship. It will require strength not of body, but of spirit and cooperation between you and the Shield Maidens." Marcus took a slow breath. "What do I need to do?" "Follow me," Sarai-Kar said. She led him to the center of the chamber. The crowd fell into complete silence again. Two large stone slabs were brought forward by Tevari attendants, each carved with intricate patterns. The slabs were heavy, Marcus could tell, by the way the attendants strained to carry them. Sarai-Kar touched the first slab. "This stone represents the weight of Tevari tradition." She touched the second slab. "This one represents the weight of human responsibility." She turned to Marcus. "In the ceremony of shared burden, you must carry one half of each stone. We will carry the other halves. Together, we walk toward the great pillar of unity at the center of this chamber. If either of us falters, the ceremony fails." Marcus stared at the enormous slabs. Even half of one stone looked like it weighed as much as a small vehicle. He didn't know if he could lift them, but he also knew he couldn't refuse. He stepped forward slowly. "I'll do it." The crowd murmured with approval. Tevari workers split each slab into two pieces using glowing crystal tools. Marcus received the smaller halves designed for human strength, but still incredibly heavy. The Shield Maidens, 5 of them, took the larger halves. Sarai-Kar lifted her piece easily, though it was massive. She nodded toward Marcus. "Begin." Marcus gripped the stone. It felt rough and cold. He lifted with all the strength he had. His arms shook immediately. His legs wobbled. Sweat broke out across his forehead. But he didn't let go. They began walking. The path to the great pillar was long farther than it looked. The glowing stone tower stood tall at the far end of the chamber, shimmering like liquid silver. Marcus gritted his teeth. His arms screamed in pain. Every step felt like dragging a mountain. But he forced himself forward. The healers watched silently, their faces tight with concern. Halfway through, Marcus's foot slipped. The stone nearly toppled from his grip. The crowd gasped. A strong hand steadied him. Sarai-Kar had stepped beside him, supporting the stone with her free hand for a brief moment, just enough for him to regain balance. Their eyes met for a second. Do not give up, she said quietly. Marcus nodded, breathless. Together, they continued. When they reached the base of the great pillar, Marcus's arms felt like they would fall off. His knees nearly buckled. But he didn't let go until Sarai Kar touched the glowing surface of the tower with her piece. Then Marcus placed his halves against the pillar. The stones locked into place with a soft glow. A deep vibration hummed through the chamber. The great pillar lit up in brilliant blue and silver. The crowd erupted in cheers loud, metallic echoes bouncing across every wall. Sarai Kar turned to Marcus and raised her hand. "Human Marcus Hale," she said. "You have completed the ceremony of shared burden. You have shown strength, unity, and respect. The cultural exchange oath is now official." The healers smiled with pride. Marcus stood trembling, exhausted, but filled with relief. Sarai Kar lowered her voice so only he could hear. "You have changed us today. Your courage will be remembered." Marcus managed a weak smile. "I'm glad I didn't drop the stone." Sarai Kar allowed the smallest hint of a smile. "If you had, I would have caught it. We carry burdens together, that is the meaning." But though the ritual was complete, new challenges waited on the horizon. And one final test far greater than any trial was still approaching. Part 4 would decide everything. The great pillar of unity still glowed hours after the ceremony ended, its blue light stretching across the council chamber like ripples on water. Tavari citizens walked past it in silent awe, touching the stone carefully, as if afraid to disturb the new history carved into it. The cultural exchange oath had become real. A new ritual existed, one shaped by a human's honesty, fear, courage, and stubborn determination. But Marcus Hale did not feel like a hero. He felt like a tired engineer whose arms still burned from carrying half a mountain. He was sitting on a low stone platform in the healer's quarters, wrapped in a soft fabric blanket. His muscles ached as if someone had replaced them with overcooked noodles. The Golden Crest healer stood beside him, checking a scanner that glowed faint green. "You pushed your body far," she said gently. "But you will recover. You have strong bones." Marcus forced a smile. "Thanks. My bones would like to rest now." "You deserve rest," she said. "Today was important." "I'm still shaking," Marcus admitted. "That stone was heavier than it looked." The healer laughed lightly. "That was the point. A shared burden must feel real." Marcus leaned against the wall with a sigh. "Do you think this changes anything? Truly changes anything?" The healer's golden eyes softened. "Yes. Our people respect strength, but they also respect wisdom. You showed both. And more important, you showed you wish to honor us, not insult us." Marcus rubbed his forehead. "I just wanted to fix the misunderstanding. Not make history. History chooses the ones who dare," she said quietly. Marcus blinked at her. "Is that a Tavari saying?" "Yes, usually told to young warriors." "Well," Marcus said with a weak grin, "I'm not a warrior." The healer touched his shoulder. "After today, many would argue otherwise." Ender day, not far from the chamber, the Council of Shield Maidens gathered privately in a domed hall. The 12 warriors stood around a circular table carved with the symbols of their ancestors. Their armor reflected dim amber torchlight. Sarai Kar stood at the head, silent for a long moment. Finally, one council member spoke. "We agreed to the cultural exchange oath, but the people will want leadership. They will want guidance. What shall we tell them?" Another added, "Some still believe our ancient rites must never be adjusted. They will call this change dangerous." Sarai Kar raised her hand. "Traditions exist to give strength, but when a tradition harms an innocent or threatens peace, we must reconsider its purpose." A younger council member asked, "And you believe this human, Marcus, gave us reason to change?" Sarai Kar nodded slowly. "He faced our trials with sincerity. He carried the stone with more determination than many warriors. He showed honor equal to any Tavari," the council murmured. "And," Sarai Kar continued, "he gave us a chance to grow, to welcome a new era." One elder warrior crossed her arms. Do you truly trust humans, Saraikar? Saraikar's eyes shone with certainty. I trust the one who stood before us today. And sometimes, one example is enough to open a new path. The elders nodded. A decision had been reached. Meanwhile, aboard the Earth starship Resolute, chaos slowly gave way to cautious relief. Captain Arya Zhao and her officers scanned the incoming message from the Tavari Council, an official statement describing the ceremony, the trials, and the new oath. The captain's eyebrows rose higher and higher as she read. So he didn't get married, Lieutenant Rao said with a grin. Captain Zhao exhaled deeply. No. But he somehow created an interspecies alliance ritual. Rao laughed. That's better. Zhao shook her head. This man came here to fix drones. Groans. And instead he fixed diplomacy, her officer replied. Zhao tapped the console. Prepare a landing party. We're going to congratulate our engineer. Later that evening, Marcus walked through the glowing streets of Tavar with the 5 healers. The air was cool and gentle. Lanterns floated in the sky, shaped like small silver discs that drifted slowly through the air. Tavari citizens bowed respectfully as Marcus passed. Some smiled. Some placed a hand over their hearts, a gesture of gratitude. Wow, Marcus whispered. Everyone's... You earned their respect, the Golden Crest healer said. I thought they would still be mad, Marcus admitted. I did mess up their tradition. No, she said. You helped us understand it better. And you helped us give it new meaning. They reached a large square where a crowd had gathered. The moment Marcus stepped into the open area, the crowd parted, revealing Saraikar standing on a raised stone platform. She raised her hand. Human Marcus Hale, she called out. Come. Marcus swallowed hard and approached her. The light of floating lanterns made her armor gleam like liquid gold. I'm not in trouble again, right? Marcus whispered. Saraikar gave the faintest hint of a smile. Not today. The crowd chuckled softly. Saraikar's voice grew firm again. Before all of Tavar, the council acknowledges your courage and honesty. We honor you with a title rarely given to outsiders. The crowd murmured in excitement. Saraikar lifted a small object, a polished armor plate shaped like a crescent, marked with blue symbols. This is the plate of shared burden, she announced. A symbol of unity. A reminder that 2 peoples carried weight together. Marcus stared at it. You're giving that to me? Saraikar stepped forward and placed the plate on the cord already around his neck, next to the healing stone. It is yours, she said. And with it, you are named Honor-Bound Engineer of Tavar. The crowd erupted in cheers. Marcus blinked rapidly. I don't know what to say. Say only what your heart knows. Saraikar replied. Marcus took a breath and faced the crowd. I'm honored, he said simply. And I promise to do everything I can to keep this bond strong. The cheers grew louder. For the first time since arriving on Tavar, Marcus felt truly at peace. The fear, confusion, and exhaustion faded, replaced by a warm sense of belonging. He looked at the healers. They smiled proudly. He looked at Saraikar. She nodded with respect. He looked at the floating lanterns and the glowing tower in the distance, the great pillar of unity that he had helped complete. That was when Marcus realized something surprising. He had not only avoided disaster, he had become part of something bigger, a bridge between 2 worlds. Later that night, Marcus stood alone at the edge of a quiet terrace overlooking the city. The stars shone bright above. The alien landscape hummed, softly with life. Footsteps approached. Saraikar stepped beside him, her voice calm. You did well today. Marcus smiled faintly. Thanks. Though I hope I never have to lift another giant stone. Saraikar chuckled softly. Understandable. They stood quietly for a moment. Then Saraikar spoke again. Marcus Hale, do you know why our ancient rite existed? Marcus shook his head. Not really. It was created during a time of war, she said. When trust was rare. When showing one's unarmored form meant surrendering all defenses. It was the ultimate sign of trust. Marcus looked down at the two symbols on his chest, the healing stone and the armor plate. And instead of fear, Sarikar said softly, "You gave us understanding." Marcus scratched his cheek awkwardly. "I didn't really plan any of this." "True," Sarikar replied, "but intent is only part of the story. Your actions showed us a path forward." She bowed her head slightly, a gesture of deep respect. "Thank you." Marcus felt his chest warm. "For what?" he asked. "For reminding us that traditions are strongest when they unite, not divide." Marcus smiled gently. "And thank you for giving me a chance instead of, well, consequences." Sarikar's lips curved in a faint smile. "There were many consequences, but you faced them all, and turned them into something better." They stood quietly once more, watching the lanterns drift across the night sky. Two worlds, two cultures, one new beginning. Marcus Hale, engineer, accident-prone diplomat, unexpected symbol of unity, felt a deep peace settle inside him. He had survived misunderstanding. He had survived trials. He had carried a burden meant for two peoples. And now, finally, he carried hope. Humanity had found a new ally, and Tavar had found a new friend.